What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to another video. So another trade recap for the day, about a 30, I think slightly over 38% trade for me today, and let's just hop right in. So on the open, I think something maybe related to the Ukraine news with Russia, but I'm not exactly sure. Either way, we played the price action, so got a very aggressive selling on the open, and we created two fair value gaps from it. So you see the first one right there, oops, and the second one right here. So with this aggressive selling, fair value gaps created under some previous demand as well, so added another layer of confluence, which is actually where we rejected. So anyway, so we came back up, got this nice move into the first fair value gap, but I didn't really see much of a response from any sellers or anything like that I typically like to see. Closed pretty strong in this candle. You see we did have fading 5-minute buy volume, so I was still interested in the setup. Just want to see either a overshoot into this fair value gap or just wait for another 5-minute close here, which we did get. So the difference on today, this is typically exactly what I look for. Good move into it, fading buy volume, got a reaction candle here. But typically these candles are about $1 or so, and you can see the elevation today, they're about $3, $4, $2. They were very elevated. So for me to risk this point where I typically like to risk about 60 cents, where I would have then had to risk about $2, I would have had to cut my risk down pretty significantly, which I didn't see the value in doing on this first trade. It just didn't really make sense for me. So nothing there, and stayed patient from there. A little bit of FOMO, but just kept my patience, kept my cool, and didn't force anything into that. And I think that's another very good lesson, because I have had moments in the past where it's, you know, you get that setup and maybe conditions aren't just right. Instead of just accepting that and moving on, try to force something in anyway. And those are typically where you get those bad losses from. So instead of doing that, just cooled myself down, stay patient. And because of that, I was able to catch one good trade. So got this lower high here. You see lower high, move up and move down, lower high. And that's from the open aggressive selling, we began to form our downtrend. So when we got this move back up, formed this candle here, this reject candle, bearish pin bar in this fair value gap, took my entry on the close of this candle here, risking above the highs, still elevated risk just because these candles are still large. So cut my size in half, took very small size, but cut this, trimmed it down. Again, I think it was around 38%, and that was it. Typically would have a little bit more size, would have been able to leave some runners into the lows, and these contracts absolutely exploded. I went, I think, an extra one out the money, and they still exploded down. I think around here, around the low, maybe 200% of those contracts. So they really did quite well. Aggressive move down, but again, really wasn't in much to size, so I didn't really have much of runners to leave. But I think that's an important lesson, understanding that, okay, I have to risk more. So if I'm risking typically 50 cents, and now I have to risk $1 in risk for my stop loss, instead of going in, with your full position size, cut your size in half. So that way $1 of risk is still the same dollar amount. In terms of, say, 50 cents of risk is $100 for you in terms of what your stop loss would be. So if you're risking $1 instead of 50 cents, you cut that size in half. So the $1 risk is still equivalent to the $100 of underlying risk where your stop loss would be. So just a little way to keep your risk the same. That's what I did. Took it pretty light. Ended up still working out pretty nicely though. Just one good trade, same setup we've been taking. And yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Appreciate you all for coming as always, and see you in the next one. Peace.